Hey everyone, welcome. Let me ask you a question. Are you looking to improve your sponsored display advertising game for your Amazon business? As you know, Amazon has made a ton of changes in that area, and I don't think it's going to change in 2021. I think there's going to be more updates, making it critical to know what's going on right now. So in this video, this is part 2. We're going to go over how to use sponsored display ads based on where customers are at in the customer buying cycle. Now, there's all sorts of ways to use sponsored display ads. We're going to get creative on this video, so you're going to want to stay tuned and watch the entire thing. But first, if you're new here, my name is Mike Zagari, and welcome to the Entourage YouTube channel. We provide software to help you scale your Amazon ads and also results-driven management. So every single week, you can expect a video from us that takes our experience with all of our clients and helps you improve your Amazon advertising. So come back every single week, make sure you subscribe and click on the little notification bell, and let's dive in. All right, so if you're just watching this video and you haven't watched the first video on sponsored display ads, last time we went over how to use sponsored display ads for the discoverability phase to help drive massive awareness to your business, and also the consideration phase. Now, the difference between the two is one is like a billboard, like we're trying to get visibility for your brand. And of course, with that, you wanna have a capped budget and make sure that you don't spend all of your ad spend on those sponsored display ads. Next, with the consideration phase, this is when we're trying to be considered over our competition. So let's say you have a better price, or you have a better review star rating, or there's some kind of advantage on your product over your competitor's product. This is where we wanna drive sales through the consideration phase and get more page views and more visibility for your product. Now, you can use sponsored display on all these different phases of the customer buying cycle. Today's video, we're going to talk about high purchase intent. How can we scale sponsored display ads? Now, it's worth noting that sponsored display ads are still very much in their infancy. So I think there's going to be a lot more room to scale in the future as Amazon gets their systems together, as Amazon gets their targeting together. There's going to be lots more opportunity. So we're going to take what we know right now with how to scale and help you implement that with this video. First, let's dive right in. Now, if you look over here, you're going to see that we have all of the different audiences broken down. I'm going to go to this higher purchase intent scale box right over here, and we're going to see that the first audience is views remarketing our product. So let's dive into Amazon. When I'm inside of the sponsored display ad console, you could see here that you want to go first over to audiences, and you're going to see this option here for views remarketing, which is a new audience. I'm going to select a product and come down over here. And like we talked about last week, there's going to be 2 audiences by default. I do anticipate Amazon's going to add more audiences as we go along, but check out the differences between the two. We have one audience that says similar to advertised products. And if you remember from last week, we put that into the consideration phase, and you can target ads that are similar to your product, but not your product. In this example, what we're looking to really scale is we're looking to target the people who have gone to our listing over the last 30 days, because there's a look back period of 30 days, but have not made that purchase yet. So we could, in this example, put a very high bid, get all of those people who have seen our product, but just did not make that purchase yet. So just keep in mind that these ads are going to follow shoppers both on Amazon and off Amazon. So we're getting that retargeting effect, and we're only getting charged when people click back on our listing. So in a sense, we're retargeting the low-hanging fruit, the people who are likely going to be the most interested in our product, but just haven't pulled the trigger quite yet. I would suggest putting a higher bid on this because, like I said, these are people who already know about your product. Maybe they got distracted. Maybe we can use this to bring them back to purchase your product. All right, next we have the converted ASINs. So this is where we take all of the wealth of information from our search term reports. You know, you have the automatic campaigns and you have the category targeting campaigns that you set up for sponsored product ads. We can now take all of that information and harvest that information and get the converted ASINs and then target them with sponsored display ads. Now, sponsored display ads show up in premium locations. We'll go over that in just 1 second, but check this out. I'm inside of PPC Entourage, and if you don't have an Entourage account, make sure you sign up for your free trial, or you can download the search term report. You can get the same results from the search term report. It just takes some simple Excel skills to get the data. Essentially what I'm looking at here though, is I'm looking at all of the ASINs that are harvested from my automatic campaign and from my category targeting campaign. And you can see that some of these have multiple orders. So 33 orders with a 19% ACOS. 13 orders with a 24% ACoS, 3 orders with a 15% ACoS. So obviously, if I have converted using sponsored product ads, this could be a good target for sponsored display ads. So I want to then harvest this. Now, there's a debate whether or not you should do it on the ASINs that have just 1 order. Some sellers want to wait for 2 or 3 orders. That really depends on how big is your budget, how much do you want to spend on this, what is your appetite to scale this. I mean, if you just have a one-off sale, that may not work out well and be able to really convert well with sponsored display ads. So you may want to wait for 2 or 3 sales. Once you get those ASINs with 2 or 3 sales, you can harvest them and use them for sponsored product, sponsored brand, and sponsored display ads. So now when you do that, your ad can potentially show up in some really premium locations. Once again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to focus on the ASINs where we know there's been a conversion, and where better to get that conversion than right below the buy box. So imagine you've leveraged the power of your automatic campaigns, category targeting campaigns, and now we're finding those ASINs and we're showing up every single time with a competitive bid right below the buy box of that ASIN where we've ethically stolen some sales before, and now we're showing up right over here. So this is a really good way. I highly recommend using a higher bid price on this and testing it out. It's not always going to work because just keep in mind, these ASINs worked before on sponsored product ads, and these are a different location. But of course, there's a good chance that it could work because they're already converted in the search term report. All right, so just a couple notes when you're looking to scale these ads. You want to start off with a relatively low budget, but then of course you want to scale that over time. So if you find that you have an ACoS that is within your target zone, you can then uncap that budget and then utilize a lot of your ad spend over here. Of course, because we're looking to scale this, we want to uncap the budget. Next, of course, we also are looking at ACoS and ROAS and conversion percentage. These are the KPIs that we're looking for. Before, in the discoverability phase, we were looking more for impressions and reach. Here we've discovered the ASINs where we are looking to get that sale. We're looking to get that low ACoS, high ROAS, high conversion sale. So we want to make sure that we track that and we have metrics to track and make sure we stay within that KPI for this phase of the buying cycle. All right, everyone, let's get to how to use sponsored display ads for brand loyalty and also cross-selling opportunities. So this is a really easy setup, in my opinion, right now. It maybe is going to become more complex in the future, but brand loyalty is a great way to make sure people stick on your listing and stay there and don't go wandering away from your product listing and purchasing your competitors' products instead of yours. So check this out. Purposely went to Onnit, who did this really well. You can see here that I'm on the Alpha Brain, Memory, and Focus, and they have adequately secured these 2 locations, and they also secured this location over here with a bundle. So this is a really great example of just making sure that your home base is secure. Once you get traffic to this listing, there's not all of these different ads that are popping up. And they did this through sponsored display brand targeting, which is really, really simple to set up. And also, this could also be considered a cross-selling play as well, because perhaps I'm interested in the Alpha Brain, Memory, and Focus, and they are showing me the Shroom Tech, which could be something else like a pre-workout supplement. Now, based on the brand analytics report, that's where you can go and figure out what do shoppers like to purchase together, and then you can take those ASINs and target your own ASINs so that they show up together, and also they show up in a bundle. This way, there's a better, higher likelihood that shoppers will bundle the products together, and you can increase your average cart value. All right, so let's start from the top. We have this section over here called brand loyalty, and one of the audiences that really stands out to me here is the purchases audience. So if you go on to sponsored display and you go down to the audiences section, you're going to see the purchases section right over here. Now, some of you may not have access to this, and I think Amazon is actually going to be revamping this, and it actually was taken away from some sellers for whatever reason. So just keep in mind that if you don't have access to this, hopefully you will once again in the future. But the purchases audience will target shoppers who have already purchased your product. Now, we call up Amazon and we ask them, well, what is the look back period on that? Because it really makes a difference. Did they purchase it 30 days ago, 60 days ago, 90 days ago? The last time we called, it was 365 days ago. So essentially, we're targeting people who haven't purchased our product in a year. I'm not quite sure how effective that is. We've had mixed results with this so far, but if you do have this option, I suggest taking advantage of it because these are people who already have purchased your product and maybe already know, like, and trust your product. Now, keep in mind that with the purchases audience, this is placement on and off Amazon. You're going to get that CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, which typically means it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and there is no creative customization. It's very simple to set up. The only thing that you're going to have to know is that it is using dynamic bids down only, so take that into account when you're setting up your ad. Next, we have the brand ASINs. So let's say, just like in the Onnit example, I wanted to really highly focus and target in on the ASIN and protect that brand. Well, all I have to do is find that ASIN, or just take that ASIN and target my own ASIN with another product. Now, obviously we want to make sure that we're targeting ASINs that have some kind of compatibility. We're not just targeting like an outdoor product with Alpha Brain, although you can do that if you know enough about your audience and you know the customer overlap, you can do that. But for most sellers, that's going to be very expensive to do and not very relevant in Amazon's system. So stick to the ASINs where you know there's some complementary aspects to it, and then go ahead and target your own brand. Very simple to set up. Let me go right over here. You're going to go to product targeting. You're going to go to select a product, and then all you have to do is enter in the individuals ASINs right over here. Very simple and straightforward. So next we have cross-selling opportunities. So if you're doing a brand loyalty play and you're trying to keep shoppers on your page, you can utilize this as an opportunity to potentially get that upsell. And I've mentioned this already. So essentially what we're doing here is we're leveraging sponsored display ads, just like over here, to make sure that we can not only protect our brand, but also upsell them on a product. So I highly recommend going to brand analytics, checking out the market basket analysis to see what's in shoppers' box, and make sure that you utilize the ASINs where there's a higher likelihood of getting that upsell or getting that cross sell to protect your brand and also increase the average cart value. All right, everyone, there you have it. That is sponsored display in a nutshell. As you can see, it's very much in its infancy. It's actually been called the DSP Lite, and I think there's going to be a ton more features that are added, which makes it even more important right now to get used to the different features, get used to where the ads are showing up, come up with a strategy, come up with your own unique SOP, and start to build out your sponsored display ads. We know from experience that the sellers who are the first to start to adopt these different ad types usually win out. Those ads usually get some favorability down the line. So take action today, and I will see you on next week's video.